I saw some people the other day crying, oh, I don't know, Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. Watu wanalia. Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country. He has no reason to give you anything. I mean, you don't pay taxes in America. He is appealing to his people. Shauri yenu bwana. Yeah? This is a wake-up call for you to say, okay, what are we going to do to help ourselves? Instead of crying, tujiulize, what are we going to do? Haya ametoa hiyo pesa, sasa tutafanya namna gani jameni? What are we going to do? Yeah? To support ourselves. Because nobody is going to continue holding out a hand there to give you. It is time for us to use our resources for the right things. We are the ones who are using them for the wrong things.
We have depended on USAID for over 60 years, and the moment the owners of the money say, let's take a 90-day pause that I audit where my money is going, suddenly the whole country goes into a frenzy. And this should be a moment of reflection for Uganda and the African continent in general. We have been asking for a very long time to be liberated from colonialism, neo-colonialism, and now that the opportunity presents itself, for some reason, we are complaining. Because let's get something straight. Often the money given to us in foreign aid is lost to corruption, misuse, depleted and overrated salaries to particular individuals, or sometimes we lose billions of money that are unaccounted for. So it only makes sense that the donor is asking for an edit, and if that means pausing the amount of money coming in, they should.
USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out, and then we'll make a decision.
I meant someone had to say it. Well, this is by far the most sensible response to USA sanctions by an African leader. Former President Uhuru is spot on there. Essentially, there is an almighty panic over USAID, or USAID. That's what we call it in Africa, USAID. So we're going to be calling it USAID. Money in many African countries. To be honest, many Africans would agree with this move by Donald Trump to cut aid, because we know the truth. We know the truth about aid in Africa. Donor money always go to the employees and their families and the people in power. That's just an open secret. NGO workers are some of the best paid in Africa. They drive big four-wheel drive cars and attend meetings and claim lots and lots of allowances, build fancy houses, take foreign trips, etc., put their kids in private schools. That's where most of the money goes, if we are to be brutally honest. Only those who benefit from those donors will be crying for it. Not everyone is bad. Some do a good job, but the majority are just there to enrich themselves, period. What they do one or two things for the villagers, get the poor village women to dance, take some videos and photos and post them on their websites and say, yes, we are making a difference to the communities or to the villagers. But we all know that it's a bunch of BS. It's a lie. Most of that money is used to enrich those who work at these organizations. I know this, you know this. Most Africans are with Trump on this one, I'll tell you that, because you got on social media and you hear, the same sentiments that I'm expressing, that, look, people don't see the money anyway. Well, let's listen to what Trump said here.
USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out, and then we'll make a decision.
If you've got an apple and it's got a worm in it, maybe you can take the worm out. But if you've got actually just a ball of worms, it's hopeless. And USAID is a ball of worms. Mm-hmm. There is no apple. And when there is no apple, you've just got to basically get rid of the whole thing.
USAID has long strayed from its mission to effectively and efficiently administer aid to advance American interests. USAID has become rotten to its core. For decades, while homeless veterans sleep on our streets, our communities rebuild from natural disasters, and American families struggle to get by, USAID has pillaged and plundered the American treasury, essentially lighting American taxpayer dollars on fire, funding some of the dumbest I mean, stupidest, just dumbest initiatives imaginable.
Left-leaning lunatics ran these programs. Enough said, that's true. And I think that African countries got to a point where they think we are entitled to aid. Uhuru said this. These Americans who fund these programs, or the United States government, it's through the taxpayers, their taxpayers. And they don't have to pay tax in order to fund Africa. Most African countries are 60 years into independence. 60 years. And still overly reliant on donor aid. You can sense in the media that Africa at the moment is mostly anti-America. It's towards the East, China and Russia. That's where the alignment is. So then why should, if we are to be honest, the United States of America give money to countries who don't like America? There's not much sense in there. And that's the argument as well. Why should we give money to countries who don't like us? They hate us. In some instances, USAID was funding terrorist groups and all sorts of groups. Malawi is a country that is one of the most affected by this executive order. So let's look at this article just to bring you to your attention of how some African countries are affected by this move by Donald Trump. The article says 5,000 local jobs hung by a thread. So the Tonsi Alliance job creation agenda, which is the Malawi government's agenda, is facing its toughest test yet as jobs for about 5,000 people risk being lost in Malawi if the US President Donald Trump proceeds with his decision to dismantle the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. And he will. That's what he said he will do. The agency distributes billions of US dollars in aid around the world. Fears have grown after Elon Musk, who is a close advisor to the US president, has tweeted this. USAID is a criminal organization, time for it to die. Look, if he says that it's gonna die, it's gonna die. That's it. I mean, they're killing that thing. As of Tuesday, USAID was supporting 284 million, or nearly $285 million worth of programs in almost all sectors of the economy. So that is about a tenth of the annual budget. And I think Malawi's budget is financed by donor money, a lot of it, maybe 40 or 50%. The Daily Times has established that so far Malawi has 35 USAID funded initiatives. On Monday, Trump alleged during a meeting with reporters at the White House that USAID was managed by radical left lunatics. We played that video, adding that it was getting away with tremendous fraud. USAID was established in 1961 by President John JFK and has around 10,000 employees and a budget of nearly 40 billion out of a total of 68 billion in USA government foreign aid and spending. Look, the last year's budget was nearly 50 billion. It's just like a slush fund, isn't it? Just give people money and no accountability whatsoever. The Trump administration reportedly intends to merge the USA government's Foreign Overseas Aid Agency with the State Department, as workers were asked to stay out of its Washington headquarters. Obviously, they need the Congress maybe to kill the whole thing, and the best way to kill it is just to put a little department in the State Department and say, well, okay, it belongs to the State Department, and that will be basically the end of it. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told reporters in El Salvador that he was now the acting head of USAID, calling USAID a completely unresponsive agency. Rubio said a lot of functions of the organizations are going to continue, but I don't believe so. The worry itself, for instance, in a country like Malawi, is huge. Since 2006, Malawi has received approximately $2 billion in US development support, averaging about 100 plus USA dollars a year, more than that. So the suspension of aid put at risk various projects, including food security initiatives, health interventions, and economic development programs. Well, it is time African countries look after themselves. We can't forever depend on the Americans or the Europeans or the Chinese or whoever. This is a wake-up call. Let's put our house in order. I mean, there is no reason why the government, like say for instance in Malawi or in other African country, spend money like they make lots of money. Like look at the cars they drive, the big motorcades, the housing and the insane allowances and stuff. I mean, that gotta stop. I mean, I think that every country in Africa needs its own DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. Let me know what you think by leaving a comment below, and I will see you in the next video. My name is Yao Bantu, and do not forget to subscribe.